My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. And this is a movie I heard amazing things about. I heard people call it really emotional and heartwarming and hilarious. And I was curious about it, so I gave it a try. And I have to say, I think this movie is perfectly fine, but it's nowhere near as good as people are saying. What really makes this movie for me is Jenny Slate's performance. She absolutely nails it in this movie. She clearly found a voice that really worked and she just went with it, and she elevates this movie every chance she's got. She brings a level of charm to it. She brings a level of smart assery to it, and it really worked for the character they were portraying on screen. And I do think this movie is able to be charming and endearing, and that's what keeps it entertaining. There are moments where I found myself dozing off, but it still won me over by the end, and there are some moments that made me laugh. I also do love what this movie is trying to do about make you appreciate the small things in life. It's nothing new, it's been done 100 times before, but it does work for this movie. Like, if I had to describe this movie, it would be like, if you want to see a stop motion shell voiced by Jenny Slate, pretty much just read the motivational posters throughout the entire movie, then you'll like this. If that doesn't sound appealing to you, then stay away. And this movie is stop motion animated, and if you know me, you know that is just my jam all the way. I prefer it when it has lots of atmosphere like Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride or James and the Giant Peach or Coraline or Paranorman or Kubo and the Two Strings or Mad God. And this movie doesn't have that level of craftsmanship to it. It doesn't have that level of atmosphere. But for what the movie's going for, the stop motion works perfectly fine, and I always commend the hard work that goes into it. Where the movie loses me is in its story. It just never really grabbed me. I was never invested in Marcel's quest to find his family, and it just felt very lacking. It also doesn't help that this movie has a documentary approach to it, which kind of keeps you at a distance, so even if I could get emotionally invested in it, it finds a way to keep you even farther apart. So I didn't really care about what was happening, but the stuff that was happening and being said, I still found entertaining in its own right. Now, I will say, for an animated movie produced by A24, this is kind of what I'd expect, and it's not a movie I see any kids liking. I don't see any kids watching this movie and having fun with it and loving it. I feel like most of them are going to be pretty bored with it. So even though it's kid friendly, I would not call this a kids movie. No way. But yeah, I did enjoy this movie. I did like watching Marcel just hang around this house, rolling around in a tennis ball and doing all of that. I found it entertaining. I found it charming. I found it endearing. And it's funny and really sweet in moments. But the lack of a real story, the documentary approach for me just didn't work as much as I would have liked it to. Still liked it. Still enjoyed it. I'm glad I bought it. But it's not as good as people are saying. So I'm going to go ahead and give Marcel the Shell with Shoes On a 6 out of 10. This is unironically my favorite Jenny Slate performance since Parks and Recreation. But anyways, did you see Marcel the Shell with Shoes On? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin, out.